Yeah, let's roll. Hey, everybody. Thanks very much for hanging out with us on Todd-Bits. You asked for it. They're here. It took a lot. These guys are literally like a Korean pop band in popularity. It's unbelievable. Welcome back from RJO. John, Fred, boys, welcome.
We're back.
Back, baby. We're back.
You guys, I got to tell you, the fan mail that I got from you is almost frightening. I mean, I've got articles of clothing in the mail. I've got emails. I get people asking for your phone numbers, which is really creepy. It's crazy. And I mean, I'm just absolutely thrilled to have you here. And not only that, I'm thrilled to have you here because I'm having a good hair day. And that means a lot, Fred. Not something I've heard, I'm sure you've ever said before or feel that way in the morning. Nonetheless,
Feeling good, though.
I know you look good. You're strong like bull, and I love that about you. I absolutely love that about you.
You're having a good stash day, unlike me.
I am having a good, yeah, you know, it is. It's, you know what? It feels good to wake up and be me and look in the mirror every day. I love it. I absolutely love it. And by the way, do you love the backdrop? This is strictly, I did this solely for you guys because I had so much fun the first time and people loved you guys so much. I thought, hey, let's do a little tropical thing. We're talking about imports, kind of extending summer through the winter time. I thought, you know, we got Todd-versations, we got Todd-Bits. Let's do a Todd-cation. And that's what we're doing today. We're having a Todd-cation on our show.
Yes, baby.
Yeah, I'm digging it. I'm digging it.
Love it.
So again, fan base is huge. Groupies are, you know, the groupie thing, completely weird, but I love it. So I do appreciate you guys coming back on and hanging out and BSing with me, all fun and kidding aside. It's great to have you. I enjoyed the last time you guys were here. We had some great conversation. It was fun. It's certainly fun to do this and smile and laugh a little bit. And I know that that's pretty much the norm when I hang out with you guys. There's no two ways about that.
We're so excited to be back in your crib. You know, it's always awesome. And then now that the crib's a little wet, gets a little more sun.
I know it's strong like bull. I'm telling you, it's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day. I'm loving this.
We'll just catch a wave and ride.
Well, I know. I'm telling you, and I'm no lie. I am as fired up as a kid getting a full-size Snicker on Halloween. There's no two ways about it. I mean, I am stoked to be here.
Hey, Todd, you know what? You're just like a Snicker because you satisfy.
Damn straight there. Damn straight there. Write that. You know what? Putting that down. That is going to be new merch right there. We're going to put that on the merch table. Absolutely going to put that on the merch table. But I do appreciate you guys getting here. And I called you and I said, hey, let's talk about what the hell's going on in this world when it comes to imports. You know, there's a whole bunch of boats sitting off the shore right now with a bunch of Christmas toys, which are going to be a real hassle and a real thing. And I want to get into that a little bit and talk about what it's like to be a trucker in the great state of California. But really wanted just to kind of get in and talk about what's coming up, what's going on. What are you guys seeing from your perspective? Because I love the fact that you have this global view. I love the fact that you have so many people out in the field. You know what's going on in each zip code that's around California. Your perspective is so unique compared to so many other people because you are on the ground and you are in different cold storage. You are seeing the ebb and flow of the farming community. So first question I want to throw at you guys, you know, how's it going this year? How are things going to finish up? And, you know, when it comes to fruit and stuff this year? Don't fight for the answer to the question, for God's sakes. I mean, whoever, Fred, you want to go first? You want to
jump in, baby?
Yeah,
jump in. It's been a summer. It's been a summer. You got out of California.
Profound.
You got water.
Very profound
water
statement.
You got water issues. You got labor issues. Weather issues. We had some rain recently. That heat little spell in the middle of summer. From a grape perspective, what we're really seeing usually that transition from domestic to import. Usually around the end of December.
Right.
Depending on who we ask, if you have an import program, you're going to say the first week of December. If you don't have an import program, you're going to try to stretch it along as far as you can.
Right.
Quality will be the dictator. You need to look to where that equilibrium is with quality and price. But Peru's hungry. They've proved in year and out that they've got a really good program that needs to be recognized and respected.
Are we allowed to say dictator on this program? How many countries are you in?
Are you gonna edit me?
No, I don't edit anybody. No, we have an explicit rating. You can say whatever you want. You can say dictator. You can say baked potato. I don't really care.
Baked potato.
Yeah, it's not. We're not. Yeah, but how many countries? A lot. Probably the ones that have dictators. So, but
yes.
I think we're safe. We're safe.
We're good. We're good.
Nobody knows. Hey, Johnny. Nobody's going to know you're on Shaw Avenue in Fresno. You're totally fine. Don't worry about it. You're totally safe. Let it go. Yeah,
East
you're
Shaw,
fine.
we're not West Shaw, but I digress.
It happens.
But it's going to be very interesting for the transition. Ideally, hoping for a nice, smooth transition. The last few years, California growers really it was not necessarily, it was unexpected, but they expected a longer season from retail, just hanging in with them. But like I said, that Peruvian fruit's been coming, and it's fresher, cleaner. They got the new varieties. And there is a point where quality does dip below a certain level and price goes up, and you got to be able to navigate those waters. And, having boots on the ground in California and boots on the ground out here, kind of giving that data to our customers, telling them when we would advise shipping and then let them fill in the lines.
Right. Well, one of the things that I've heard, and out here right now is that, we're in this situation this fall where there's more fruit than there's, literally sales at some points. I mean, are you guys seeing that? I mean, because I know the growers are having a hard time. There's whether it be acquisitions, there's people that are fighting with the banks trying to save. I mean, it's messy out here. Probably as messy as I've ever seen it in my, tenure of playing in the sandbox. Johnny, I mean, does that resonate? Does that make some sense? I mean, you sensing that too?
Yeah, absolutely. I would agree. And Fred alluded to some of the challenges inherently that we have. And a lot of them are unique to California, and a lot of them are man-made challenges unique to California.
Yeah.
But we're definitely seeing those challenges, and it's a struggle. It's something that we're very well aware of. And, conversely, in the situation we're in, we're doing our best to allow these growers to succeed and give them an opportunity to get that product to the marketplace, make sure they're getting it to the right home so that they can get a, good return for their growers. And to your point, it's amazing too, just the influx of venture capitalists and what that does and how that impacts generational farming.
Yeah.
A lot of these people have farms. They're really asking themselves what their future is and do they want to keep doing this or not? And that's an interesting dynamic.
Well, it's a huge dynamic, and it's something that I think we need to be more cognizant of, because if you take a look at the space, there's not a second generation. Like if the second generation's not going to come, the third generation's not coming, right? And we're at that point where you've got some of these things. Privy to some of the things that are going on and things that I hear, there's first generation farms that have second generation, family members that are bailing at this point. And that's just surprises me, because they've got the acres. They seem to be relatively successful. Things seem to be working. All of a sudden it's like, nope, I'm out. And I think that's a sign, to me, that's a sign of concern that agriculture is becoming a big risk. It's bad enough you're fighting Mother Nature every day. It's bad enough you got bugs. It's going to rain, right? I mean, you wake up every day with those risks, right? I always say farmers are the biggest gamblers in the world, right? They always want to hit once every 5 years. But at the end of the day, that fear factor of that extension of capital, prices aren't going, prices, retail, the price of a box isn't going up, but all the other costs are. And we're in this stuck mode of like, we've got to start to appreciate what it takes for a grower to wake up, put his boots on, and put food on his family's table every day, and realize that it's not cookie cutter. You just can't decide that a box of widgets is going to be $12 because that's what you think it's worth. It just doesn't work that way. And that backlash is we're starting to see, to exactly to your point, that investment money's coming in, which is scary in the sense that who are they going to get to run it, right? How is that going to work? That becomes a whole nother avenue.
Yeah. Right. If they run it like widgets and stuff, it's not looking good. I mean,
yeah.
Go ahead, JO.
It's that intellectual equity that they have, that they grow up with. And we said it before, each tree, each vine, each plot of land, they have their own personality and own dynamics, and they need different nutrients and different water, and they're all different. They're all different, and you're gonna lose some of that, and that's scary. But conversely, when you talk about the price of fuel, you talk about the cost of insurance, you talk about the increasing cost of labor, the input cost of these products, and they're going to get passed on. And you talk about the current inflation that's happening and how that's going to impact the cost. It's already impacted the cost of goods.
Correct.
It exponentially works, I fear.
Yeah, and I think the hard part is that while your packaging may go up and you get that pack, the rest of it, the money it takes you to spend to buy that packaging, right? Because that's a really valid point. It's like you have to use capital to keep moving forward. It becomes really, really tough for these growers. I mean, living in a farm community like I do and being a part of it for so long, I'm feeling they're paying more now than I ever have before. And I'm seeing more people, I think, at the table saying, I want out. And that's really scary. It's really scary.
Yes.
So when we're looking at imports now, to kind of shift gears a little bit, I'm going to talk a little bit about logistics, because this is, and I want to get into the California logistics issue, because quite frankly, I'm going to use an analogy. It's a train wreck, which I wish we had trains to put stuff on, right?
Oh, wait, hey. We have high speed rail coming from the state of California. It's going to go, I think, from Merced to Bakersfield, Todd.
Yeah, I know. I'm excited about it. I'm looking forward to driving down the freeway, watching it pass by.
And I'm still not certain it's going to be funded. I think they took it out of the budget this year.
Correct. Yeah, it's not. But the tracks look good. They're really cool.
There's some great artists. There's some great artistry on them. Some wonderful graffiti.
Yeah,
it's young people.
Yeah, it's a classic. It's a classic California move. Let's get something we don't need, but spend too much for it. I love it.
It sure made a lot of people happy.
They did. Like I said, it's gonna be fun to see that thing never run. But when I think about like this import thing, we talk about these ports, and that's what I want to kind of get into right now. And I know for you, Fred, back on the East Coast, it's not as bad. I believe it will probably end up getting worse because people are going to start to shift and try to put more onto your side and truck it across, this whole crazy thing. So Philadelphia's got that to look forward to. And it's certainly not going to be the Eagles in the playoffs. That's given. So my question is, from a perspective of somebody that's importing, I'm hearing that there's a massive amount of hesitation from South America, from these other countries to actually even try to bring product into the United States. They're looking at these other avenues. They're looking at, let's get more into Asia. Let's get more into Europe. Let's get more into, anywhere else we can go, because this is such a train wreck and such a nightmare out here. Are you guys feeling that same vibe out there, that these importers are really taking a hard look now and concerned?
Kind of, sort of. I would break it down a little bit into two parts of US. I think more growers are hesitant to go to the West Coast, like you mentioned. I think there's going to be less, where we actually, in the years previous, we actually saw more fruit arrive via container. It rides better, cold chain's better. I think this year you're going to see less container, more bulk break, because those boats coming into Philly, the bulk break boats, it's easier to unload, navigate.
What's a bulk break? What's a bulk break boat?
So everybody has seen the containers on the news.
Right.
You see them riding down the freeway. The bulk break boat is basically a boat that's empty that you load individual pallets onto.
Gotcha.
So it's just a giant boat full of pallets that are moving all over with the ocean. So you can only imagine how those arrive.
It'll be fun.
It's great. It's way fun. But you're going to see more people go towards that. And actually interesting from a world standpoint with the ports. I mean, you look at Shanghai, you look at, Hong Kong, they're backed up too. I mean, I think the world pinch of the supply chain, it's at the ports, but it's even further down the road of where these things are. And and the other thing that I think the Southern Hemisphere is going to be more inclined to send to the East Coast is days traveled. They can still afford to sit out at sea for 5 days, 6 days, as opposed to go where it only takes 12 to 14 to get to here from Chile,
right?
Rather than 25 to 30 to Asia, and then have to sit out there for another week. So very interesting. I think numbers though, I think we actually are going to be up in what Chile is going to send. I think the numbers are up. Granted, they had the rains last year, so anything should be up compared to last year, but there's optimism in terms of what we're going to get here.
Well, and great point about bringing up, Shanghai, bringing up Hong Kong. And I think one of the big problems they're having is that because of this backlog, they don't have containers to send back. That's some of your issue. The boats are there, but they don't have anything to put. They have no way of doing anything with them because all these containers are just stuck. I mean, that's another issue of this whole thing. I want to get
tiny homes, man.
Yeah, well, I want to get into a little bit.
Built.
Yes, exactly. Modular homes. I want to get into this thing in California because, I kept hearing, these truck driver shortage, you listen to the news and then it's all of a sudden, I think in today's world, you listen to the news and you got to go figure out what the news is. And so I dove into this a little bit and peeled back this proverbial onion when it came to the California crisis. And, quite frankly, I personally disagree that it's an issue that we don't have enough trucks. It's an issue of we're not utilizing the trucks that are actually available for several reasons. One of which, on the California ports, you cannot be an owner operator of a semi truck. You have to be a union driver. So in this country, we have over 400,000 owner operators on the highway today. And interestingly, 34% of the owner operators are vets. And the average owner operator, average median income owner operator is $50,000 a year. I mean, these people bust their humps week in and week out, providing a service to this country and to, our personal families that go unrecognized, and I think about some of the stats I pulled up from the DOJ and other sources. They're away from home 151 plus nights a year as an owner operator. Away from home, 151. I know it was like when I did 100 nights a year, 151. That's a ton of nights away from home. And what's even more interesting to me in California is not only do you have this union issue down on the dock, but you have to be driving a truck that's a 2011 or older, or have that truck modified to an engine deal by 2020 or no later than 2023. But the average age of a truck for an owner operator in this country is 2008. And I don't think people understand that's $100,000, $200,000 investment to a guy that's working his ass off, making $50K a year, right? So how do these guys survive? I believe if you really kind of called to arms and said, we want to solve this problem, I would bet you $1 that you could probably get 1,000 trucks showing up in Long Beach going, we're here to help, give us an opportunity.
Well,
right.
A friend of mine worked for a truck dealer down in Santa Fe, California. And he said one of the stories he had was some of his guys that are drivers, they're driving their 2010 truck in circles around those ports just to remind them of what they're missing out on. 2000,
exactly.
1 year off.
1 year off, and we can't utilize. And then the other crazy thing is when I think about this money these poor folks have to go invest. And I'm not even going to say it that way. The money that they want to invest in their business, right? Because it's they're an owner operator. It is their business. But in California, we working on this legislation, this stuff to pass that by 2035, everybody's going to have an electric truck, except there's no electric truck technology yet. We don't even know what the hell we're going to do, but yet we're going to have to do this. So how are we incentivizing these 400,000 people to reinvest in our country's supply chain by holding them hostage on doing their jobs? It's fucking stupid. It kills me.
Our electrical grid is doing fantastic.
Well, that's true.
True.
Yeah.
Man.
I'm sorry to get on my soapbox, but I find it so frustrating because and you guys, I think, would agree with me. We've been in this business a long time. The business is run by truck drivers. They are so
Absolutely.
intricate to the part of, I don't care. The retailer can do all the bells and whistles they want. If they can't get it to their warehouse, okay. And your growers can do all the greatest jobs in the world, but if they can't get it to the retailer to get on that great store shelf, it's all for nothing. And I just feel like we throw the baby out with the bathwater, and this problem can be solved. You know what it is? It's like, it's not about fixing the problem. I think we have to spend more time understanding the problems we're trying to fix. And I don't think sometimes we don't have the right people in the room. It's just crazy. It's crazy. So I'm sorry. I digress and I got pissed off. And I dropped an F-bomb. And I dropped an F-bomb.
Well, good. Well, what I would recommend you go do is buy a generator so you can charge your truck. Oh, I'm sorry. Generators are going to be outlawed as well in the state of California.
Correct.
Now my riding lawnmower, I got to get a new one that's electrical. And tell me how many times I'm going to run over the cord on my electrical lawnmower.
Well, first of all, yes, I will tell you right now, you will not get on the grass without running over the cord. That's 100%. But they do have electric mowers now that do work off battery. But the cord
Battery power.
Yeah, the cord thing. I mean,
do they have chips? Do we have them? They have chips? Are they back ordered? How many years?
Well, there's exactly that.
Yeah, they're in the ports. They're in the port. A lot. And by the way, so are your Christmas gifts. So don't be pissed off if they don't show up till March. That's just already Christmas shop, baby. I already knew it was coming. Well, that makes me feel better.
Hey, but you know what? That's going to make St. Patrick's Day that much more beautiful, Todd.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And I love the Irish Christmas. There's no two ways about it. It is a gift that keeps on giving, especially the day or two afterwards when you remember what you did the day or two before. I wanted to get into this because I think it's so important. I think it drastically affects what you guys do. It drastically affects everybody. And we talk about these folks that are down there going, what do I do? California, United States is a big market. We have a lot of people to feed, and we're not doing a very good job of understanding that. So I guess my next question I want to throw back out to you a little bit as we're on this, the subject of this transportation and what it means and the troubles. You touched on it a little bit, Freddie, and either one of you can have this, throw the question back out to you. But I mean, are you feeling like imports this year, given that we have the transportation problem, right? I'll put that aside for just a second. Do you talked about feeling pretty strong. Are you feeling that way across the rest of the regions are going to have fruit coming out?
Yeah, I mean, I would get what you just hinted on before. I'm getting this question a lot more recently. Now that it's becoming news, a lot of our customers are asking that same exact question. So conversely, I peeled the onion back on the other side. Why is there a push for all this stuff? And boy, oh boy, did I go down a rabbit hole. So there was a great analogy that back from 1980 when Carter deregulated would turn it into the FAA transportation thing. It's been a race since then. It's been a race to the bottom in terms of trucking industry. And a lot of people feel that bottom is there. With the owner operator, they're expected, as you said, they don't earn a great wage. They're away from home all the time. And they're now like Johnny was mentioning, with insurance, health insurance, life insurance, they're expected to foot a bill. Now, where this little pinch in the supply chain came about with the ports, it was, hey, you can do a pick drop, about $400. You could do 2 of them a day. Let's go. On paper, all day will roll. After COVID, during the congestion on the ports, they were comparing it to, hey, you have a flight on Friday. You don't know what airline, you don't know what terminal, and you don't know what time, but show up. So these owner operators are showing up. They're footing the bill for their fuel. They're wasting an idle tank, quarter tank of gas. They pick up their container. They go to store X. Store X, due to labor, that container isn't ready to take back to the port. Yeah. So now they just got paid $200. Now they're negative income. So these owner operators were expressing concern, like, hey, can we be employees during this type of thing? No. So what do they do? What does California do? That there's a union that smells it out. Boom, they unionized quick. Teamsters grabbed a hold of it, and now you went this direction, boom, all the way over here. And as you were saying, the answer is in the middle. Right. You gotta find it in the middle, but we have flipped all the way back, and now you have unions dictating hours. Hey, we don't want to really work on Sundays, even though, Uncle Joe said we're 24/7. The union says maybe that's not the best hours to work. So it's just a tough time in everything that we do.
I agree.
COVID, working from home, when life went on pause, everybody kind of self-reflected. And I think getting back to the normal grind is tough. I mean, it's tough. You want to sit in your PJs.
It's a great point, Freddie, because I feel like when you talk about the middle, I feel like everybody wants to take that step forward. Let's all get together, take that one step forward. But in the meantime, there's a lot of forces that just tie their shoelaces together. So they take that step forward and face plant.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think this is Johnny. I 100% agree with you. And I think this, when you think about the trucking situation in these ports, that sums it up to a T, right? We have an opportunity to solve this problem, yet we don't want to. It's like, again, we go to fix problems, but we don't understand the problems we're trying to fix. And I just think that's so dangerous. And I think when it comes to your food, when it comes to food, it's ponderous to me to even go down this trail. It's just freaking stupid.
Awful.
It makes no sense.
A lot of people, there was a Facebook post, a little neighborhood moms around here, because in New Jersey
which of course you're on.
Absolutely. I'm the queen diva of that thing, baby. Well, I have the alter ego, Frederica. But in New Jersey, Cherry Hill.
A lot of people know your alter ego.
Thank you, baby. There's free lunches. We'll get there later. So free lunches are offered for the school district.
Right.
Well, a student came home with a oxidized, bruised, brown inside apple. It was posted, shared probably 600-700 times. Oh my goodness. They're feeding our kids poison. I can't believe this. All that we pay. And I had to butt in. I did. And I just talked about the supply chain of what goes into that one apple. It's free, first of all. If you don't like it, go grab another one. Second, think about everything before you start blasting. They wanted a new buyer at the school district to be in charge. They wanted the food ladies to be fired. It's like, guys, whoa. This is fresh fruit that we're dealing with. And so much goes into it that just gets overlooked constantly.
Right. Well, I mean, look, I think a lot of people still go to the grocery store and think the broccoli comes out of the back room, right? I think that we've got to get a better connection to our food, which is one of the reasons why I'm just so humbled and honored to be able to have this platform and to be able to put people on that are actually working like you are to elevate this conversation, drive a little common sense into the one thing. I mean, think about it. There's three things on this planet that we're all connected by: the sun, water, and food. And really, it baffles me that it's just so complicated to try to take care of all three of those, and they don't become a bigger, priority, right? Sun, we can utilize for energy. There's ways we can do different things. Water, hey, that's kind of a priority. I read that. Remember reading that in kindergarten, right? I mean, that's an important thing. And the food, right? And we work so hard to make our food supply so crappy that I really feel like some of those decisions we're paying for now, and we're seeing the results of that now. It's no different than what we led into earlier, Johnny. We were talking about, these growers that just aren't going to be here anymore. And I don't know, you lose 5% of the growers that just want to cash in and cash out and move on, sell their ground, sell their water rights. I mean, hell, there's growers who are just selling water rights and making more money than the risks they're taking farming. That's dangerous long-term. It's dangerous. We've got to get these conversations elevated.
We turned our food supply chain into, rather than marveled, our food supply chain's expected. When you're driving on the freeway and you're looking at these 18-wheelers driving by you, they're in your way. Get out of my way. You're going too slow. I mean, that's it, man. I mean, we just
don't let them get on the freeway. Make sure you speed up and keep them from getting on the freeway. But if you're in your Prius now, if you're both in your Priuses, you just go to the fast lane and make us all slow down behind you.
No, right? man. The PrePre Life is streaming behind the semi. You're at 61, 62 miles per gallon when you can figure that baby out.
Drafting.
I own that.
I got it. Yeah.
Got to draft.
I got to be honest with you. I stopped listening I stopped listening after PrePre. I was trying to come up with something to say, but I don't think I need to now. I think the fact that Todd, you went deep on PrePre.
You'll never know unless you drive it. It's a lifestyle choice, okay? And we chose to do it, and the PrePre Life is real. The tattoo, I'll show you guys later, but it's real, okay?
Yes, I'm appreciative. The PrePre. I love it. That's what I love about this format. I learn, I get educated. I'm getting educated right now on PrePre. This is beautiful. This is absolutely beautiful.
Todd, I want to go back because I thought it was interesting the way you brought in the three things that connect us, and as frustrating as some of the things that handcuff us with the laws and regulations, I appreciate the goodness of what they're trying to do. They're trying to put us in a position where we have clean water, where we have clean air, where if we can get to the point where we have an electrical grid and we can have electrical trucks, those, I think in the big picture, those are positive things. But, Fred hit it, but in the middle is where the answer is. And I think we just get pulled so far apart. And so you've got to be able to have, an eye on today and succeed this week, and then be able to succeed in the next decade and 20 decades and for the next generation.
100%.
And I think that's extremely important as well.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Come in and say, no, this is what it's going to be like, because that just, as we've seen, it puts a kink in a lot of things.
Yeah, I don't disagree. And I think, again, we start thinking about that food supply. It frightens me to start thinking about the fact that we are not putting energy into figuring out how to maintain our food supply sitting offshore right now. The TVs, the Christmas gifts, okay, whatever. I understand. I feel bad for them too, but we're talking about our food supply, and that just frightens me to death. Because, we live in a world now of what if this happens? What if this happens, right? It's just the way the world is. And so I don't think we have a good what if contingency plan right now. And we're in the middle of that some way with what
we didn't do too well in 2002 with the what if, because that came in.
Right. 100% agree. So getting us kind of back to the thought about import season and what's going on. I mean, I'll just kind of come full circle around. What are you guys looking forward to, other than this trucking nightmare that I just scared the whole world about? Sorry, everybody. But hey, you got to hear it. You got to hear it. You got to hear it. Well, you got to hear it to understand it.
One thing that I think is a produce industry, and people, I would even, fresh produce, especially, is that a lot of supply chain issues are nothing new for us. Yeah. This is something we've growers have been dealing with since the inception of farming. Absolutely. How are we going to get our lettuce to the people that need it? And so, I think that the fresh produce industry, we're ahead of the game. We deal supply chain issues every single day. And the one thing about produce people is they figure it out. They figure out how to get from point A to point B.
Right.
And I take a lot of pride in that because that's what we do every day is to make sure we're getting that fruit from point A to the end user, from the farm to the end user. And I kind of laugh when you look at the news and it's like, oh, supply chain issues. And it's like, yeah, no shit.
Welcome to our world.
Yeah, welcome to Tuesday.
Now you're just getting in our way, though. Your big TV's getting in the way of my pineapples, man. Let's go. Come on.
Normally it's Sunday morning, right, when the truck doesn't show up.
Right, of course, yeah. That or Friday night at 5. My most favorite time to have a problem. Friday night at 5. But but you're absolutely right. I mean, and you can even say the same thing about immigration, right? Let's just give us a plan. The produce guys will figure it out. Just give us something to work with. That's what we've done for hundreds of years, right? I mean, whether you're back 200 years ago with using a draft horse, figuring out how you're going to get your stuff harvested and to the general store to make market, right? We've done it. I think it's inbred. I think it's in our DNA when you're in this business to solve problems because you're dealing with such a right.
Yeah,
right.
It's a perishable item. We got no choice. We got to figure it out quickly.
I agree 100%. Well, it's going to be interesting to see. And I love what you said earlier, Fred. I mean, your optimism about what's coming up, for this import season, where things are at. I mean, I think that's great. It's encouraging to hear because I'm not hearing a lot of that from people. So to me, I'd like, okay, I take great solace.
I'm trying.
Well, you're always a beacon of sunshine, and I appreciate that. But it's nice for what I like to truthfully, I like to hear it from your perspective because you guys are so well connected in so many avenues, right? From fruit to veg, all this other stuff. So your perspective, I appreciate. So I take some solace and encouragement out of that. What else is out there that's got you guys, besides, Fresno State doing well in football?
Let's go, baby.
The Eagles.
Big game, big games for these guys the rest of the season. But they're doing.
I've been able to watch. Ever since the UCLA game, I've been able to watch every game on TV because now they have it on the East Coast. Before, I get screwed with the Fubo TV, whatever that game was, an Oregon game, Pac-12 network that I didn't have out here. But now, 10:30 kickoff. Come on.
Yeah, that's right. You got the 10:30 p.m. Yeah, well, and look, and you got the Eagles, so I know that's got to keep you up at night going, yay, team. Okay, enough said. Enough said with that.
Hey, Niners won when they came here. It was great. We sat with the Eagles. We were wearing red. It was fun. So at least Niners won. But now we're the same boat as they are. So.
Were you sitting with your mom Facebook group, or were you just?
No, man. We were up in the 200 section with the Eagles, man. I took the kids. It was interesting.
I can only imagine. That's one step behind the Bills, I think.
You were wearing your 49er gear, I'm sure.
Absolutely. We were red. And then all the other 49er fans, they chickened out and they bought tickets down in the lower level where it's a little less rowdy. We should have done that.
Well, nothing like learning a lesson with your kids.
Lesson learned.
Guys, I mean, unless is there something you guys want to throw in?
Yeah, FJ's vocabulary extended quite well that weekend. So
well, that's good. It's just they're just words. It's the word. If they're just words, and when words becomes actions, then it becomes an issue.
That's true.
Right.
That's true. So he's still wearing Niner gear, so we're good.
Nice.
I just wanted to follow up on Frederica.
Wow, that is going up. Can we have that?
Realizing she's too old for this shit.
Yeah, I love it. We need to have.
I was my wife. I was Candace on Sunday morning, so she was Saturday night looking beautiful, and I was her Sunday morning. It was pretty good.
Wow,
we won. We won the costume.
Your Saturday night.
Saturday night. I love it. Absolutely love it.
Sunday morning.
Wow. Well, I got to get that. Johnny, if you'll send that to me, I'll be very happy to put that up.
It's public domain. Channels. She put it on the world. It's public domain. It's yours, Connie.
Yeah, we'll be happy to have it.
Send that one. I don't know if HR would approve.
You are HR. What are you worried about?
Man. Small business, man. You are your own HR.
I love it.
HR for me is hell raising.
I love it. You guys, thank you. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for kind of the insight and talking, getting a little deeper in some of the problems that we have and getting this conversation elevated. And I hope that's what we do. I hope people hear this, get a good laugh, have fun on the treadmill, hiding from their boss, listen to what our bullshit session's all about. But I hope they walk away from this and start to ask some more questions about the why behind what they're not necessarily hearing and get a little deeper in some of this stuff and try to understand that, I say all the time, vote with your dollars, but knowledge is king. And this is one of those issues where I think the more people understand and go, hey, wait a minute, we need to start elevating this conversation because I think we can empower and solve some of these problems faster is worthy of our time and energy. So I appreciate you guys coming on here and keeping our explicit rating up on all the channels we're on. That's a good thing.
Thank you. Positive cost of food, Toddy. Positive
It's
cost.
It's what it is, man.
Yeah.
It's exactly what it is. I beat that drum all the time. And now people are saying more and more people are talking about it out loud. And I think it's wonderful because the more we do, the more we have these conversations about these things. Like, again, trucks are a positive cost of food. Logistics, a positive cost of food. Imports, having fresh food, fruit on your table all year long. That's a positive cost. That's a good thing for your family. These things are important to keep elevated. So I do appreciate you guys very much.
Likewise, Toddy.
All right, boys.
Appreciate
You coming?
brother.
By the way, you coming back for a third? You
Oh,
guys gonna come back?
Yeah, March 18th.
What is March 18th?
Day after St. Patty's Day.
Day after
Come on.
Oh, I'm sorry, I wasn't
Come on.
thinking. I wasn't.
Come on.
Don't judge me like that. You can profile me, but don't judge
See how
me.
the feedback on Frederica. If I get the same amount of fan mail, I'm in. Let's go.
Dude, if I get it, look, I got to tell you right now, if I get any more articles of clothing, we aren't coming on a third time because I was offended about what came in the mail. I was offended. And I don't get offended very often or very easily, but I got to tell you, I'm serious. I told you, you guys are like you're like a Korean K-pop band. It's unbelievable. You got groupies. It's somebody's going to get a tramp stamp. I'm telling you right now with you guys on, it's not going to be good at the end of all of it. I swear. I appreciate you guys very much hanging out. Please come back. I want to keep the conversation going. I love talking about stuff like this. I love doing it with you guys because it's fun and, open invitation. You're welcome to come back anytime you want.
Great. Thanks, Toddy.
See you, boys. Take care. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out. Remember, go inspire somebody today. It's not hard to do, and it's extremely important. Hopefully we inspired you a little bit to get more involved. Take care, everybody. We'll see you soon. Bye.